everyone, welcome to Must Read Monday. My name is Dabney. I'm the young adult librarian with the Twin Lakes Libraries, and I use they, them pronouns. For today's episode, I am going to be talking to you all about books by Irish authors, or set in Ireland, or featuring Irish characters. And this is to celebrate St. Patrick's Day, which is next week, March 17th. And a little bit about me, I always get excited for St. Patrick's Day because my great-grandmother immigrated here from Ireland, so I just always get excited about it. So we've got a lot of books to cover today, and I'm not going to go into detail with all of them, but here we go. So one of my favorite YA authors, Sarah Rees Brennan, she's written a lot of books, including the Sabrina books based on the Netflix show Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. So each of these books is set like between seasons of the show. She also writes the Fence series, which is based on the graphic novels Fence, and I talk about these a lot, and it's just such a fun series to check out if you like sports. And then in Other Lands, one of my favorite fantasy books, it's about Elliot. When he's 13 years old, he goes through a wall into another world, like a fantasy world. And so this covers like 4 years of his life as he, instead of going to school, he goes to these other lands where he has friends, and he's kind of like finding out like what his place is in this other world when his reality back at home isn't really that great. But I love this a lot. It's just so good. And she also writes some other really great series like the Lindburn Legacies and the Demon's Lexicon, which I would recommend you check out. Alright, so this is an author who I'm just reading for the first time. I'm listening to the Falling in Love Montage by Ciara Smyth. And this one is totally amazing. The main character, Sorcia, is kind of going through a lot. She's just finished up school, planning to go to Oxford for university, but now she's kind of like, she doesn't know if she wants to. Her mom has early onset dementia and is in a home. Her dad is remarrying. She's not excited about that. Her longtime girlfriend had broken up with her, and so she's just kind of feeling like love isn't real, relationships don't last, like I might get dementia like my mom, so like what is even the point of me trying to have another relationship? But then she meets Ruby, and Ruby kind of like talks her into trying like a falling in love montage for the summer, like just those highlights from like rom-coms instead of all of the like I guess downer drama moments. So I'm 30% in. I'm really loving it. It's amazing. And this one is set in Ireland by an Irish author. Also by Ciara Smyth is Not My Problem. I have not read this yet, so let me just read you the summary. And also, apologies in advance if I get people's names wrong. I am trying. Aideen has plenty of problems she can't fix. Her best and only friend grows more distant every day. Her mother's drinking problem is a constant concern. She's even running out of outlandish diseases to fake so she can skip PE. But when Aideen stumbles on her nemesis, overachiever Maba Kolaska, in the midst of a full-blown meltdown, she sees a problem that, unlike her own disaster of a life, seems refreshingly easy to solve. Maba is desperate to escape her crushing pile of extracurriculars. Aideen volunteers to help by pushing Maba down the stairs. Oh my gosh. As planned, Maba sprains her ankle, a free pass out of all sports, PE classes, and mandated yoga for relaxation. Problem solved. Except for the witness who saw it all, a boy named Kavi, who isn't exactly known for his discretion. And when he brings Aideen another client in need of her help, Aideen is in for a semester of ill-advised hijinks, a war waged over student council elections, and an unexpected chance at love. Fixing other people's problems won't fix her own, but it might be the push she needs to start. I think that sounds amazing. Okay, up next is The Wren Hunt by Mary Watson. I talked about this for my midwinter reads books because it is starts out like at midwinter, and this is a fantasy novel set in Ireland by an Irish author. I really liked it a lot. It is about these two rival groups, the judges and the augurs, who are kind of trying to get control of this area and the magic in the area. And caught in the middle of it is Wren, and so she's, as the story goes on, she's like, you know, kind of like working as like a double agent for the augurs, infiltrating the judges, but along the way discovers like a lot of secrets about both groups and herself. So this is almost like a thriller, really, because it gets pretty intense and it's very unique and not really like anything I've read. I liked it a lot. The sequel is The Wicker Light, which we don't have here, but I checked it out through Pines because I really like this one, and it's just as good. So yeah, I definitely recommend you check these out. Then we've got The Henna Wars by Adiba Jaigirdar, and I have not actually read this one yet, but I did read her other book, Hani and Ishu's Guide to Fake Dating, which is amazing. We have it in our collection, but it's checked out at the moment, otherwise I would show it off to you right now. So these are both books set in Ireland by an Irish author. So let me just read you the summary for this one. Nishida's parents say she can be anyone she wants, as long as she isn't a lesbian. Nishida doesn't want to lose her family, but she also doesn't want to hide who she is, and it only gets harder once a childhood friend walks back into her life. Flavia is beautiful and charismatic, and Nishida falls for it instantly. But when a school competition invites students to create their own businesses, both Flavia and Nishida decide to showcase their talent as henna artists. In a fight to prove who is the best, their lives become more tangled, but Nishida can't quite get rid of her crush, especially since Flavia seems to like her back. As the competition heats up, Nishida has a decision to make: stay in the closet for her family or put aside her differences with Flavia and give their relationship a chance. I think this sounds amazing, and I am very excited to read it with all these other books. Okay. Some fantasy horror. The Call by Peadar Gillen. This book is like very terrifying. It's like, you know, I think Ireland gets invaded by the Fae. So let me this is just a little thing, but it's like 3 minutes. You wake up alone in a horrible land. A horn sounds. The call has begun. 2 minutes. The She are close. They're the most beautiful and terrible people you've ever seen, and they've seen you. 1 minute. Nessa will be called soon. No one thinks she has any chance to survive, but she's determined to prove them wrong. Time's up. Could you survive the call? Okay, wait, they haven't invaded. Sorry, I'm getting the books confused. The sequel is The Invasion, where they do invade. But in this one, I believe it's just like, I think it's just teens get called into the lands of, like, the She lands, and they're basically have 3 minutes there, and they're like hunted by the She, and if they can get away, like if they can survive those 3 minutes, they get sent back home. And it's just really terrifying, honestly, and this is just like a really fast-paced book. So I think from what I remember, all of the teens are like rounded up into these schools where they're like basically giving like a lot of survival training to try and like boost their odds to survive, because I think Ireland is like contained, like people can't get there and people in Ireland can't leave, and this is obviously having a detrimental effect on the population if like all of your teenagers are slowly being killed off one by one. So they're trying to get them to survive, and it's pretty horrific, but I like it a lot. So, if that's like your thing, definitely check these out. They're very unique, very scary. Okay, now we're getting into some books I have not read. So, an author, we have 3 of the books in our collection, Moïra, Fowley-Doyle. So we've got The Accident Season. And also this is Irish author set in Ireland, Irish author. Every October, Ciara and her family become inexplicably accident-prone. Some years it's bad, like the season when her father died, and some years it's a lot of cuts and scrapes. They know what they need to do: stock up on bandages and painkillers, cover sharp table edges with padding, banish knives to lock drawers, switch off all electrical items. They buckle up, they batten down. But this accident season, when Ciara, her stepbrother Sam, and her best friend Bea are 17, none of that will make a difference, because Ciara is starting to ask questions, and the answers were never meant to be found. Oh my gosh. Sounds good. All the Bad Apples. On Dina's 17th birthday, the day she finally comes out to her family, her beloved older sister Mandy is seen jumping from a cliff. Their extended family is heartbroken but not surprised. To them, the Reese women have always been troubled bad apples, their estranged father calls them, and Maddie was the baddest of them all. Then Dina starts to receive the letters, impossible letters, from Mandy. The letters tell Dina about the true source of their family's blighted past. It's not just bad luck or bad decisions, but a curse handed down to the Reese women through the generations. So Dina sets off on a desperate cross-country search, guided only by the letters that mysteriously appear along the way, hoping to heal their family's rotten past and save her sister before it's too late. Oh my goodness. And we do have another book by this author in our collection. One second, I'm looking it up because I want to tell you all. And okay, yes, Spellbook of the Lost and Found is the other one. So if you want to check that out, I don't have it with me because it's checked out at the moment. So those are obviously fantasy type stories. This one is realistic. Irish author set in Ireland. Asking for It by Lise O'Neill. Emma O'Donovan is 18, beautiful and fearless. It's the beginning of summer in a quiet Irish town, and tonight she and her friends have dressed to impress. Everyone is at the big party, but all eyes are on Emma. The next morning, Emma's parents discover her in a heap on the doorstep of their home, unconscious. She is disheveled, bleeding, and disoriented, looking as if she had been dumped there in a hurry. She remembers nothing from the party. That day, several devastating photos from the party are posted online and go viral, eventually launching a criminal investigation and sending the community into tumult. The media descends, neighbors choose sides, and people from all over the world want to talk about her story. Emma's life has been changed forever by an unthinkable but all too common act of sexual violence, and all she wants is to disappear. Okay. Then we have Beyond a Darkened Shore by Jessica Leake, and I think this one, it's fantasy set in Ireland. I don't think the author is Irish, but I'm not totally sure. The ancient land of Erin, is mired in war. Ciara, Princess of Mead, can barely remember a time when Northmen weren't plundering the shores of her divided homeland. With her intimidating ability to control her enemies' minds and actions, Ciara has finally managed to keep her people safe. But lately, a mysterious crow has been appearing to Ciara, whispering warnings of an even darker threat. Although her clansmen dismiss her visions as superstition, Ciara fears this coming evil will destroy not just Erin, but the entire world. It isn't until Ciara captures Leaf, a young Northman leader, during his failed siege of Mead that she discovers she's not the only one who has these prophetic visions. Leaf is Ciara's enemy, but together they may be the only ones who can save their world. And as battle grows closer, their alliance born out of necessity starts to become something more. With evil rising around them, they must do what it takes to defend the land they love, even if it means making the greatest sacrifice of all. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Another book set in Ireland, Love and Luck, by Jenna Evans Welch. Addie is visiting Ireland for her aunt's over-the-top destination wedding and hoping she can stop thinking about the one horrible thing that left her miserable and heartbroken and threatens her future. But her brother Ian isn't about to let her forget, and his constant needling leads to arguments and even a fist fight between the two once inseparable siblings. But when Addie discovers an unusual guidebook, Ireland for the Heartbroken, hidden in the dusty shelves of the hotel library, she's finally able to escape her anxious mind and Ian's criticism. And then their travel plans change. Suddenly, Addie finds herself on a whirlwind tour of the Emerald Isle, trapped in the world's smallest vehicle with Ian and his admittedly cute Irish-accented friend Rowan. As the trio journeys over breathtaking green hills, past countless castles, and through a number of fairy tale forests, Addie hopes her guidebook will heal not only her broken heart, but also her shattered relationship with her brother. That is, if they don't get completely lost along the way. And then, last of all, a bit of a stretch, but I'm going to do it anyways. We have The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater. This is one of my pretty much all-time favorite books ever, book series. Very much obsessed with it. Anyways, the main character, well, not the main character. There's a lot of main characters, but one of the main characters is Ronan Lynch. His dad is Neil Lynch, who is Irish and then moved to the United States. Anyways, so Ronan has a lot of influence from his dad, and his dad is Irish heritage, and that's kind of like a theme throughout this series. And yeah, so I love him a lot. He's a great character. And he's such a great character. He gets his own series, which is the Dreamer Trilogy. This is the first book, called Down the Hawk. And this series really focuses on the Lynch brothers. So there's Declan Lynch, the oldest, Ronan Lynch, the middle child, and then Matthew Lynch, the youngest. And it's also getting into more about their family as well, and secrets they had no idea about, their dad and their mom and everything. And it's really good. And the final book comes out this year. I can't even believe, I think it comes out this year. My brain is it's coming out this year, so probably. So great time to check these out. Seriously, one of my favorites. But yeah, those are my book picks for you all. A couple other things. If you did not know, we offer teen book boxes. This is kind of like a monthly book subscription box where you fill out a form online, I pick out a book for you, and we fill your box with cool stuff. So the book is a library book, so you do have to return it. You also have to return the box itself. But everything else in the box you can keep. So I've actually had, I think, 3 requests come in recently for teen book boxes, and it just got me really excited and wanting to mention them again. So the link for the form will be in the video notes. And last of all, this week's craft program, virtual craft program, is going to be St. Patrick's Day crafts. And so those, tune in, watch the video, and then come pick up craft bags at the Mary Vinson. You can also come to the Hancock branch for in-person programs. But yeah, I hope y'all have a wonderful week, and I will for sure talk about new books next time. All right, bye y'all.